start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I live by the old code of the second floor!
Why look for a scientific explanation when you can put blind trust in an invisible Sky Daddy?
Sky Daddy all the way.
Go watch your crappy sitcom! Turn up full volume, why don't you?
Aubrey, weird, I can't even get through my couch!
All right, welcome back to the Second Floor Experience, everyone. This is our second week with Zach back in the studio. Zach, glad you're here, man. Glad you're back in Texas.
Same, dude.
Florida man back in Texas.
That's right.
It's still raining and it's still flooding.
I know, dude. Yeah, it stormed quite a bit yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, that is one thing. I still think Florida Heat beats Texas, bro.
What do you mean,
Like, I think Florida Heat is worse than Texas Heat.
1,000%. There's no competition. There's no competition. The humid heat truly is, I think, one of the worst things ever.
When we were there, one of the days we went out to the beach. It was one of the hottest beach days I've ever experienced.
No
dude.
way.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, we had a good time, but dude, it was so freaking hot, dude.
That's when people, I mean, I don't mean to clown on people in Arizona or those type places, but they're like, it's 120 degree
Yeah.
heat. I'm like, dry.
Yeah, right.
It's dry.
Right.
It does not compare, dude.
It does.
90 degree with 100% humidity is so much worse.
It is, dude.
It's
I don't know
so
why,
much worse.
but I've
Because
been to Phoenix.
You can't escape it. Like
Yeah,
when you have that dry heat, yeah, you can at least like get in the shade or whatever. But when it's humid, dude, everywhere's hot, and no matter, like, you can walk out the door and you're sticky, you're sweating
Yes.
instantly, dude.
I remember, like, I've been to Phoenix, during the summer. I guess it was like early August. So yeah, and it was hot. Like, it felt like you're in an oven, kind of. But it was bearable. It wasn't like I'm gonna freaking die, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's like Florida heat is up top, Texas heat's in the middle, Phoenix heat's below that.
I agree.
In my book.
I would agree. I think Texas gets pretty close to Florida. Like,
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Last I've been just so thankful. I've been so thankful. Like, I know it's cliche to talk about the weather, but like, dude, this summer has been so nice.
Dude, it really has not been that bad.
It's been
bro.
like 90s, like low 90s, decent breeze, like not super humid yet. Even though it's been raining a ton, like it's humid, but it's not like 100 degree and humid.
Right.
It's
There's usually like a decent overcast, so it's not like.
And the rain like has helped. It just helps cycle the air more, and the temperature fluctuates a lot more. It's just it's so much nicer. I remember last summer it was like 60 days in a row of over 100 degrees, and there was like no rain.
Yeah, I'll never forget that, bro.
That was one of the most brutal summers I can remember.
Yeah. Those are the times where I was like, okay, this is like what it feels like in Florida usually. Like, yeah. But anyways, I do miss Florida though, I have to say.
It's understandable, man. It's understandable. You're a Florida man.
I am. You know what's crazy, bro? I still have never changed my license.
Really?
I'm still a Florida resident, bro. I've been in Texas for almost a decade.
What does that like stop you from doing? Like getting a library card, probably?
Yeah, I can't get a library card. I don't know if I could get a toll tag or not.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure.
Do you ever use the tolls?
Not really, but
Dang, dude, you're missing out.
I know. But now I don't really like need it. If I was still working my other job, then it would be worth it. But it's not really worth it anymore. 'Cause I don't drive as much. But yeah, 9 years, dude. 9 years living in Texas, still a Florida resident. Kind of wild. I guess if you cut out 4 of those years, that was in college, so it doesn't like really count because I would live in Florida over the summer, but yeah.
Yeah,
But I think you can get in trouble, like if you get pulled over. Like the last time I got pulled over, the guy was like, "Yeah, you need to get this changed." I was like, "Okay," but
how are they gonna know?
never got around to it, dude.
Yeah. Just one of those things where it's like, it's just not painful enough to like make you do it.
Well, yeah.
And it's not important enough for you to do it.
If Texas had a better like system of getting this crap done, bro.
Gotta privatize the DMV, I'll say it again.
Dude, you got to. Gosh. That is something that people need to talk more about, bro.
I'm saying, if somebody campaigned on just that, I would be like,
dude, you have my
have to
vote,
really
bro.
consider who to like. You may have my vote for that.
Make the DMV great.
Yeah, not again. Just
Yeah, it's just great because
Just
I don't know if
great.
it's ever been.
I don't think it's ever been great.
Yeah.
I finished that Vietnam book I was telling you about last time.
Really?
Yeah, I will say that like my wife has been on a tear of giving me book recommendations that I keep like shying away from, and she's kind of been right like almost every time.
Really?
That I'll enjoy it. Yeah. So I threw her another bone, and I got another one of the books that she recommended, which I feel like probably deducts some points from my man card, but I feel like if you're a dude and you want, this is what I thought about. I was like, okay, if I was a single guy, like what are some strategies I would use or whatever? I feel like a decent strategy would be to go to the library and pick out like one of the most popular like girl thriller books and just be reading it there.
Yeah.
And then like I guarantee you'll get some girls to come up to you, and they're readers, and readers are leaders.
True.
Yikes, that was rough. Anyway,
that is interesting.
Anyway, like I said before in the last episode, this author is just so good at immersing you in historical event that's going on. Like this one was about Vietnam, and it followed the fictional story of a army nurse. But she like pulls all the information from like real events and like real people's stories.
Yeah.
So
I think they call it fiction realism.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
I think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
That sounds
but I think.
really, that sounds right. And dude, it just like basically chronicles her life of going and serving 2 tours, but then coming back to a world where she got spat on coming out of the airport after leaving Vietnam, coming home, and called like a baby killer basically.
Jeez,
because everyone's like rioting it. And this was such a pivotal point. I didn't realize how crazy this time was, but this was one of the first times that the American culture, the American people, like really and truly realized that their government was lying. Like bad. Because all the propaganda was, we're winning the war. This war is to stop communism. And, this is like this is like a World War II war type thing.
Yeah.
And then like really slowly people started to realize, oh, there's a lot of civilians getting killed. And not all of them are getting killed by the North Vietnamese. Like why are there some civilian villages getting destroyed in South Vietnam? Like stuff like that where they're like, oh, that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then they're like, people come back and say like it's not what they're reporting or whatever. And all the numbers, all the reports were so fabricated and were not either fabricated or just didn't go the lengths to be able to tell them what's true. Like there's a really crazy video on YouTube of this. It's like a black and white video of this Vietnam veteran he looks like he's in his 30s or 40s. So he's not like super old. And he's like recounting what it was like, and you can tell he's like you can just see like on his face how terrible it was. And he was just talking about, he's like, yeah, you know, I had to, he's like, you know, I killed like, he's like, you go out on a patrol and you'd lose 5 guys and you wouldn't see any Viet Cong. And he's like, you had to come back and report that you lost 5 guys and you didn't kill any enemy. He's like, you couldn't do that. Like they couldn't report that. He said you had to, so he's like, the report became lost 5, killed 20 Viet Cong. Because you couldn't come back and report of friendlies killed with not even seeing the enemy. Because there was like snipers and booby traps and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff like that would happen a lot. Or he talked about like he ended up like killing a villager because so many of them would be suicide bombers or they would be Viet Cong in disguise as villagers. And they would like, so you had to be on guard all the time and super jittery, right? And dude, think about it. Like think about every time you go on patrol, one of your best friends could walk into a pit full of bamboo, sharpened bamboo with human excrement on the end, so they get infected. Could step on a tripwire and blow both their legs off, or could get shot in the face from a sniper. Like, dude, that's insane. And so this lady, anyway, so she came back during the height of that time, and people were so upset that they would take it out on the service member. So if you're dressed in your uniform, you're getting like terrible looks. No one wants to talk about the war. Like no one wants to hear about what it was like over there. So it's just like basically the main character comes back and essentially the rest of the book is just her like battling PTSD when they didn't know what PTSD was. And every time she would try to talk to someone about it or go to the VA about it, they would be like, or join a support group, they'd be like, there were no women in Vietnam. And she's like, bro, I literally worked on your friends when their organs were hanging out of them and their legs were gone. Like I held their hands while I took their last breath and while they were calling out to their mom. Like, what do you mean? Like she, in the book, like she was getting like mortared, their base was getting mortared while she's doing surgeries. And she would have to like do surgeries on the ground, in the dirt, in this tent with the doctor while they're getting mortared. Like, tell me that's not combat, dude. Tell me that's not combat experience.
Those are things that like I literally just can't imagine being in, dude. Like I just can't.
No.
I could not imagine what that would be like, dude.
So she basically goes, the character development is crazy. She goes from like a really goody two-shoes girl from Coronado, California, like from really well-to-do family, because her brother gets killed. Her brother goes to Vietnam, gets killed, and then she wants to like make her father proud and her brother proud, and volunteers as a nurse. And her parents were like, "What are you doing?" And so that's how like it starts, and it basically ends with her. I don't know. I won't spoil it, but like she basically just goes through PTSD and drug addiction and alcoholism and like, you know, crashes her car and gets pregnant and like just goes through all of this tumultuous stuff, dude, before she finally ends up being able to help she ends up basically being able to help other Vietnam nurses, essentially, other women in Vietnam go through what she went through, which is really cool. So obviously not a true story, but it is just one of my new favorite ways to learn about history.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. It's a great way to like put yourself inside like that era, you know?
Yes.
Even if it's like not 100% true.
Right.
But like the experience would have been probably.
Yeah. It's got to be close to somebody's experience.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Dang. That's good though. So any other books you have in the queue or?
I do. So I just picked up this new one is called The Marsh King's Daughter, I think is the title.
I think I've heard of that.
And it's about, I think it's a movie now. It's about this girl who grows up secluded with her mom. Basically her dad like essentially kidnaps her and her mom and like forces them to stay and grow up, and her to grow up in this like shack in the marshes of somewhere. No electricity, no running water, no AC or anything like that. And so, you know, she like teaches herself to read off of like 3 books there, you know, but like she learns apparently the ways of the marsh and escapes eventually, has to come back to society, learns society, starts a family, starts a business, and then her dad is like becomes like an infamous criminal, and then apparently she has to like track him down. So Taylor said it was really good. So
Dang.
little slight deviation from my recent books, but
Wait, so is that one?
it's not by the same author.
No, but is that one nonfiction, or is that one fiction as well?
No, it's a novel. It's fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been on a kick before of like based on true stories or like, you know, real like memoirs and stuff.
Yeah.
And those are great too. I don't know. I'm just on this fiction kick right now.
Dude, when you're on a kick, bro, you just gotta
You gotta
with it.
follow, bro.
You gotta
Follow it.
ride that wave, dude.
You have to. I agree.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, you did inspire me last week. I read a few nights last week.
Ooh.
So it was nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like the Dallas Willard book or some of the fiction books you have? Or the Paul book?
I haven't read the Paul book in a minute. That one's dense, dude. Well, it's not like super dense, but I think like I do think I've kind of gone. I haven't like really gone through a fiction book. Like you made me think about that last week. I was like, dang, dude. I've just been like on. It was like Divine Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I don't know. What is it? Unseen Realm.
Mm-hmm.
Paul. Like all these, you know, like books that just make you think super hard. And so I was like, dang, I feel like I'm kind of like my mind's a little exhausted from it. So I was like, I really need to get back into some good fiction books. So I just picked up the Witcher book that I'm on. Yeah, it's pretty good. I really feel like that series is pretty slept on. The show did a terrible job doing it. The first season was great, but the books are good, dude. They're like they do a really good. The author, he's Polish, which is kind of sick.
Oh.
And I think the books were actually written in Polish, like originally, and then they were later translated to English.
No way.
Yeah. But so it's like fantasy, like Lord of the Rings,
Gotcha.
Harry Potter-ish kind of thing, but it's like The Witcher takes like a little bit of a different spin on it, where it's more, I don't know, it's like medieval, but a little bit more modern. Like society is like a little bit more developed, you know?
Yeah.
But the author, like, he just always does a really great job depicting this battle between like destiny and then like, you know, what, like, I guess like free will, you could say. And how like this main character Geralt like wrestles with it.
Wow.
You know, and I don't know why, but like I've always found that fascinating.
Yeah, of like, what's my destiny, but I can choose still.
Yes, yeah. Because like, I mean, you know, in Christianity, there's like the big debate between predestination and free will, or whatever. Yeah. And I'm definitely more on the free will side, but like sometimes I do think about destiny sometimes, you know, like there's just things that happen or that you do in life sometimes where you're like, dang, I feel like I was made for this, you know? Like I feel like people have those moments. Like I think about John Jones, like he's one of those where like he talks about that, how he believes like I was like, this is what I was made for.
Jeez.
Like And I just think that's so cool to like to know that, to I don't know, to be so sure that like it's just about something, I guess, you know.
And to know that you were made for that purpose.
Yeah, like there's no question in your mind.
That,
There's something
yes,
about
dude.
that like level
That
of
is-
confidence.
There really is. I'm right there with you. I think about that a lot too.
Like when I think about the cruise, I know we always talk about the cruise, but like that's one of the things where like in the middle of that trip, it just felt like, yeah, like this was supposed to happen. You know, dude? Like I think the same thing about like second floor, like there's just certain things that they're just like canon, you know?
I agree, dude. And yes, I've been thinking a lot about belief lately. And this is so random. I was watching the latest Dude Perfect video. And it was actually pretty sick. The main guy, Tyler, he did like straight up bull riding for the first time. Like legit bull riding, and actually like rode one in a rodeo. Like it might have been a PBR event. I don't know. It was pretty much as legit as it got. And he did pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, and so one of his buddies, one of the other guys, like trained to be a rodeo clown. The guys that like try to get the bulls away after they fall off. And that was crazy watching him do that. And the guy that was the cowboy guy that was like coaching him up on rodeo clowning, I guess, said this line, and he said, because the guy was super afraid to he had just gotten like hit by the bull, and he was like, I don't know if I can do this, man. And the guy was like, come on, like you have to get back in there and like face your fear. And he said doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever will. It was so like nonchalant, but I just was sitting there and I was like, back up a second.
What a line.
That
dude.
was so profound. Doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever will.
Man. That was just on Dude Perfect, bro.
Just a dime dropped out of nowhere.
That's hilarious.
And it just got me thinking about like the concept of belief and how it is just so intertwined and such a cornerstone of Christianity, but also human interaction and like human life. And there's something that there's another book that I'm like reading in the morning right now that's called The Secret Kingdom, and it's by Pat Robertson, who's I read his book. He was the guy that started CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network. His story's crazy, and so I read his book, like the book of him. It kind of chronicled his life of like starting CBN, and he was the guy that like he was like a Yale educated lawyer, went into business, and then like became a Christian, sold out of his business, went and lived in like the slums of New York, and went to seminary with his wife and kids, by the way, like seeing rats in their freaking house, stuff like that. And then I mean, just like I'm talking like 10 years of that kind of living.
Yeah.
Until they basically built the first, like this was like the first Christian broadcasting network ever, radio and film, and built into this massive thing. If you've ever heard the term 700 Club, it comes from that. And that's like one of their flagship shows, and that's how they would like raise a bunch of money. Anyway, just like an incredible amount of belief to go through that.
Yeah.
And so he wrote this other book called The Secret Kingdom, and basically chronicles, he talks a lot about the kingdom of God and how about the parables. Not as good as Dallas Willard, of course, but this was written in 1982.
Oh, wow.
This is old. book. And I say all that to say, he said a line in there too, which I thought was so interesting. He said, the same people that talk about manifestation, and he mentioned Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. He said people like Napoleon Hill, he said they have understood the principles of the kingdom, but they don't serve the king. And I was just like, oh
Gosh, dude.
holy crap. And so I've just been kind of thinking a lot about that lately, because there are so many people that I know who subscribe to the whole manifestation camp that have so much more belief than most Christians I know. And that has bothered me for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And I'm like, okay, why am I so jaded in that sense of like, why can't I have this like childlike belief in, and instead of like this having this childlike belief in like a manifest consciousness of humanity or the divine or whatever, like to have it in Christ. Like what if I took that kind of faith like we're supposed to, and like I'm almost feeling like I'm being put to shame. These people who are tapping, what I feel like tapping into the principles of the kingdom of God more than most Christians, but they're just choosing to serve themselves or serve humanity instead of serving Christ.
Yeah.
And even down to like the fundamentals of belief, that if there's just something about this world and the way that God made it and the universe and the laws of the universe that like, if you put your mind to something and you don't let anything else bring doubt or anyone else bring you down, you will attract all the things that you need for it. And like, I mean, dude, I just think about like what happened with Omega. Like, we literally made it a point, and we didn't even go like, to some insane level that maybe other people go to. It was just a consistent, I believe that we could bring this type of thing to the physical reality if we just continue talking to people and doing this thing and believing in it. And it like started to happen. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, I'm just like, man, I wonder why there's just this like lack of faith.
I know.
In the Christian community versus, I go to these like entrepreneur events, and the whole room is just like, you can feel it. You can feel call it what you want, but like you can feel whatever it is, you can feel it. It's like these people believe without a shadow of doubt they're going to be successful, that their goals are going to be achieved, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man. It's just
I feel like we almost do the opposite in a sense. We're like, in many ways, like we 100% serve the king, but without really understanding like what it really means to believe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
But I wonder why. I wonder that as well. Like, it's like there's like a resistance or something. Like,
Dude.
Why is it so hard to believe like that? Like, as a Christian,
Yeah. I really do think there's a part of it that is about the opinions of others, and for some reason there's almost like this wall that people are afraid to go past. It's like this wall of faith that people are like afraid to walk through, where you get to the other side and you're just like, I really don't care at all. I just know that I don't care what you think. I don't care whatever.
Yeah.
I just know that God's going to do this thing. And that just like bothers people for some reason. Like, I just think that it bothers a lot of people that you could believe so confidently. And in the supernatural. Like for whatever reason, I think like maybe materialism or humanism have just had such an effect on our like psyche as a church that it's just we see people almost who believe in other supernatural things as like weirdos.
Yeah.
I mean, like as in like the majority of the church. I feel like there's this kind of stigmatism still. Stigma, not.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I do. I feel like the whole charismatic movement and super,
Pentecostal.
yeah, like the overly Pentecostal
Mm-hmm.
people, whatever churches. I just feel like they kind of, I don't know, like soiled the whole belief part of like core Christianity, because I hear that a lot. Like you'll hear, oh, we wouldn't want to, like scare anyone away, or we wouldn't want to, I don't know, like talking about like the gifts of the Holy Spirit and operating in that, right? Things like that. They'll say, God's a gentleman, like he won't, like we just wouldn't want to do anything that'll turn people away or freak them out or whatever. But I feel like I've always had a problem with that, because to me it's like you're deciding what God and can't, like what God can and can't do. It's like you think you're acting like you know what's better for the person than God would, And I get it. Like I do think there are parts of Pentecostalism that probably take it too far, like the whole charismatic movement or whatever. But at the same time, it's just I don't think we really believe in the supernatural like we say we do.
Yes. Yes, that's 100% it. We don't.
Yeah.
Because if we did, we would be doing different things.
Yeah.
And I've just been like, I've just really been so bare bones lately in my thinking spiritually that like there's a guy that I'm listening to a lot, Ron Vietti, who like he comes and speaks at Freedom like every once in a while. But I just love his approach right now where he's such like a simplistic approach to the Bible, to the supernatural, to like miracles and like God stories that I just realized, like, man, I just think that I've been like overthinking this for so long. And I think going to Sagu kind of has that effect on people, because you sort of get immersed in all these different theories and like perspectives that you kind of can leave sometimes just like almost in sort of a paralysis type thing of like, well, if I do this, like, is it right? Or what about this person's belief and that person's belief and da 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 da? Versus, I think more people get ministry done that are just like, I don't know, but I love Jesus.
Yeah.
And they're just like, can I pray for you? Like, can I buy your groceries?
Yeah.
I think like more ministry happens there sometimes than other places, just because they're like, I feel something spiritually to action time is really small. Like from the time that they feel God saying to do something, they're just like, I'm gonna do it. And I think that I know myself, I feel like I've just let a lot of other things maybe get in the way of that. I used to be like that a lot in high school. Like there was a time where like after church one day, I was like in Walmart in high school, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk up to someone and ask if I can pray for them. And I just did it. And like the couple was amazing, and they were like it was an awesome experience. And then like another time I was in McDonald's and I heard this couple like talking about it was a girlfriend and boyfriend, and that they just gotten pregnant. And the girlfriend was talking about how she wants the kid in church. And the boyfriend was like arguing with her, like he doesn't really want that. And it literally was like, I felt God said, like, go over there and talk was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I like picked up my chair and like went over to their booth and was like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, it's just so weird. But like, I just feel like God's, really wanted to say like, whatever. And just, I gave them like whatever word was on my heart or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it turned into like this really cool conversation, And I'm like, man, I feel like I've just let like excuses, or I think comfort is a big thing, or like fear of others, maybe opinions or whatever, of like looking weird. Something that's just so dumb, like get in the way of that kind of living. And like simple prayers, simple belief, simple action of what I've really kind of been like meditating on lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes when it comes to the supernatural, I think it's easy to kind of like overlook certain things that happen too, that are probably like supernatural, but it's not like it's not $1,000 check in the mail, or it's not like it's not something crazy, like some crazy church moment where, I don't know, you're like slain in the spirit or whatever. I think sometimes I like, it's at least in my life, I feel like personally, like my experience and with how God has like intervened with me over and over again is like through very practical scenarios where like I'm praying about something or a need or whatever, and like a friend comes and like helps me with that need, or like my parents, or just small things, or like I get to do something for someone else, and like I believe those things are supernatural, like those things are, that's what it means to be the kingdom, And I feel like, I don't know. Yeah. I think sometimes we've talked about this before. Like you're like chasing that spiritual high, And I feel like that's why sometimes it's like, if you're not like constantly getting that spiritual high, then I could see how that like kind of hurts your belief,
Yeah.
Yeah. It is it's tough, dude. We're going back to like destiny, and like that whole thing. Like those are times where you just kind of like you said, like you're so sure and like so confident in this moment, or like in this role or whatever, and it's just like, gosh, like if I could just apply that to everything else, especially my faith, that's like the goal every day.
Yeah, man. So true.
But yeah, I mean, like coming back from Florida, it's just like, it's so funny because like I just go through this phase. Like I get back, I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like that like the first week, I just felt so indifferent and passive, like this last week. You know, just very like almost like nothing matters. You know?
Yeah.
And I hate when I like get in that mindset. But usually after a week, I kind of like pull myself out. You know?
Dude, I get that. I've felt like that a lot recently, honestly, and it's just like you almost just kind of feel like just a lack of direction, or like what am I doing, or I don't know, it's just a lack of motivation.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I know that there's a lot more, you have a lot more ties, I guess, to Florida than this example. But it is, I think, kind of like sort of the low you get coming back from vacation.
Yeah.
If you go like to freaking, I don't know, you go like on a cruise or a beach somewhere or whatever, you come back and you're like, blah.
Yeah.
You're like, all your dopamine receptors have to reset.
Yeah. Back to the grind.
Yeah. So true.
But it's so funny because then there are days when I'm on vacation or like at home and I'm like, dang, dude, I really want to get some work done.
Yes.
You know?
Dude,
like,
it's so true. Sometimes vacations can be a little miserable if you don't feel like you really earned it. Like you're ready to go.
Yeah, dude.
It can just be so boring. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you read any more of the Dallas Willard book at all?
I think I did. I don't remember when I did, but I know I did last week. Yeah, I read another chapter, and he talked about I can't remember what like part of scripture he was talking about, but I know that he was talking about like basically like what it means to plant a seed into someone, like, you know, like the gospel, like sharing the gospel or whatever, and like allowing that to grow, and like how to actually do that. And he was saying like a lot of times churches, pastors, or like anyone really in the Christian faith will put a lot of pressure on, you know, like you need to be like every day or like whatever, you need to be out there, you know, like it's like the crazy Christian, like on top of lunch tables and proclaim the gospel, or, you know, like taking every chance you can to like to share your testimony, or you know, say a scripture to someone or whatever, like all those things. And he was saying like most of the time, that's what Jesus talks about, like with being the whole wise as serpents, right? Like knowing when to strike at the right time, basically. So like you plant that seed into someone, and that literally can just be you, like being their friend, or, you know, someone needs a ride home, you're the one that gives it to them, or like anything, like, you know, go down the line, and not like shoving Christianity down their throat, basically, but like being an example of Christ that in a way that attracts them like to you and to Christ. And then like when that moment comes, like, you know, they're like, dude, like why are you doing this? Or, you know, I noticed like you always seem happy, or whatever, you know, like then you strike, you know, like then that's what he talks about, like when Paul's telling Timothy, like be instant in season and out of season, like be ready to share when the time comes. But that doesn't mean that you have to shove the gospel down people's throats, you know? Like,
yeah. Like it could be the wrong time and it could turn them away.
Right. And that's like the whole thing of throwing pearls to the pigs, you know? Like they're just going to be devoured. So, which I think, I mean, I feel like I have experienced that in my life. Like I remember, do you remember in Young Adults, like a while ago when we did that whole experiment? And I don't even think our Young Adults pastor was there when we did it. But remember, everyone had like different tables.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone would like go around and you'd have like a fake conversation, you know, like, yeah, then you have to like try to share the gospel or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember when, it was like at some point someone asked the question. We were just talking about like sharing the gospel with others, like towards the end of the whole thing. And I just remember thinking like, I don't know. I think all that is definitely good practice. Like it's good to have practice like that so that you know how to share the gospel, right? In any of those settings. But I do think like 99% of the time, I don't know. I just don't think you're always gonna win someone over by like just being in their face with the gospel, you know, like, or with your testimony or scripture or whatever. Like, I feel like 99% of the time, if you are just a person that loves and like cares for an individual or whoever, like everyone likes to be loved, you know, everyone wants to feel like they matter.
Yes.
So like that speaks to someone more than anything. And I feel like that is what Jesus did. Like he went to the people that society said like didn't matter or like were outcasts, whatever. And he made them feel like they mattered, you know? So I think, I don't know. I think there's a lot to benefit from that, like from that way of sharing the gospel. Like one, it's less pressure on you because when you're sitting across from someone who's like not a believer or whatever, you don't feel this like overwhelming pressure like, how am I going to spread the gospel? How am I going to like testify to this guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like it's much more relaxing to know, okay,
like God's got this.
Yeah. If I just love this person like Christ would, then the rest will play itself out, you know? So, because at the end of the day, it's not up to you anyways.
True.
So, yeah.
Oh, we can end it. We can wrap it up if you want. Keep it a little shorter, on the little shorter side this time. I don't really have anything else. I was like, really what I was thinking about was like the belief and all that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can stop it there if you want.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening and for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Second Floor Experience. Peace.
Peace out.
I want to talk to you. Not now. Later. No, now.